Good morning and welcome to Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm Reverend Joanna and my pronouns are she, her. Thank you for joining us. We who bring a teaching of hope, we who bring a saving message, who welcome all in our doors, Muslims and Baha'i, agnostic and humanist, straight, gay, lesbian and bisexual, cisgender, transgender, non-binary and intersex, all who are searching, seeking, looking for more meaning, more service, more love. All of us gathered here together. I'd like to invite you to put your smartphone on the worship mode. That means that it's not going to make any sounds, but you are still welcome, in fact encouraged, to post on social media things that you hear today to let those who can't be with us this morning have a little bit of this experience. Maybe even give them an invitation to join you here next week. As Unitarian Universalists, Advent asks, what are we waiting for and preparing for in our own lives and in the life of our world? In the season of long nights, Advent invites us to explore the themes of hope, faith, joy, and love. And on this second Sunday of Advent, we light a candle for faith. As Unitarian Theodore Parker wrote, "I do not pretend to understand the moral universe. The arc is a long one. My eye reaches but little ways. I cannot calculate the curve and complete the figure by experience of sight. I can divine it by conscience. And from what I see, I am sure it bends toward justice." What is it that you hold on to with faith? Faith is having a harder time getting lit today. That kind of reflects reality, right? May the light of this candle help us to make real what we put our faith in. Would you please rise now, either in body or in spirit, and join us in singing hymn number 95, "There is More Love Somewhere," and remain standing for our chalice lighting.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna live on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more somewhere. There is more somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere.
Our chalice today is being lit by Lucian. Come on down. Oh, sorry. This is a congregation bound not by creed but by covenant. May those in agreement affirm our church covenant now. We affirm a caring community of and for all ages, seeking wisdom, doing service, and living with integrity. In our diversity, our covenant holds us in unity as we celebrate our shared spiritual journey. Hello and good morning. My name is Diane Sylvan, and my pronouns are she, her. And one thing that I particularly love about this church is getting the chance to stand up here and see everybody's faces. Because sometimes you don't, it's hard to connect names with faces, and so you get a better chance to look out and go, oh yeah, that's Catherine. Oh, yes, I remember now. So that's always a good feeling. I'd like to welcome any guests we have today. Thank you for taking a chance to walk through our doors and join us for worship. If this is your first time here, please stop by the visitors table so we can meet you and answer any questions you might have. And today you have the opportunity to learn even more about Live Oak at our Exploring Membership class, which is hosted by Reverend Joanna and the membership team. It'll be held in the library after today's service. This is a church that's buzzing 7 days a week. The definitive way to keep up with what's happening through our church is through our weekly email newsletter. You can sign up for it at the visitor's desk. Live Oak UU has many ways for you to connect with our beloved community. Beyond Sunday, opportunities are shared on our website and on the newsletter. One event happening this week, in fact today, is the Hanging of the Greens, our annual decorating of the church for the holidays, which also starts today after the service. Everyone's welcome to lend a hand, and lunch will be provided. It's the most magical time of the year. I'm not talking Santa and Baby J and Amazon Prime. I'm talking about that most beautifully human of things, coming together in times of darkness to transform it into beauty, taking the long, cold night and turning it into song and story and laughter, inviting the unknown future into the living room and draping it in lights. We have always come together in the winter. We've always transformed what scares us into what strengthens us together. What could be more magical than that? Let us be beautifully human here today. Come, let us worship together.
Each Sunday when we gather as a congregation, we bring our joys and sorrows with us into this room. And when we ask for remembrance or celebration or prayer or thoughts, we make of this sanctuary a sacred circle. And today, Ellie shares that today is my 14th birthday. And Asaro Rosella shares, I had to put my cat Ghost to sleep last week. And our beloved Director of Lifespan Faith Development, Chris Jarman, shares the kids did such a good job helping move all of our decorations down. Yes. And the joy, thankful and grateful for so many donating to our online auction. It is about to begin, and there are some good, I'm going to be competing with you guys. There are some good stuff there. For all of the joys and sorrows, spoken and unspoken, we bear witness with our care and concern. Please join me in singing.
Please rise as you are willing and able for hymn number 240, I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day.
Good morning. I'm Chris Jarman. I'm your Director of Lifespan Faith Development, just in case you forgot. I've been out with COVID. Yeah, I'm all better now, so they say. Yeah. Yay. So I'm so grateful to be here with you today. I've missed you. But my voice is a little off, so I'll ask for grace. Joy, pleasure, and celebration is foundational to being in the struggle of being human. Joy isn't an escape, but it's part of what keeps you human in an inhuman world. Without celebrations, what's the point of it all? So today I want to share a book with you that I've edited for our congregation called I'm in Charge of Celebrations by Bird Baylor. Now I want you to imagine the desert. Can you picture it in your mind? Some of you have probably been to a desert. Have you been to the desert? Right? Yeah? Some people have, some people haven't. Right? I want you to imagine a desert, though, that doesn't have a lot of people. It's there that I met a girl who lived amongst the bare grass, the yuccas, the cactus, the rocks, the deep ravines, the hawk nest, the cliffs, the coyote trails. And I asked her, don't you feel disconnected from the world all the way out here? Do you ever get depressed sometimes? And she answered, disconnected? Depressed? How could I feel that way? I'm the one that is in charge of celebrations. Celebrations? Out here in the desert? Yeah. I put myself in charge and I choose my own celebrations. Last year, I gave myself 108 celebrations besides the ones that they closed school for. And I write them down in my notebook. I asked, what kind of celebrations do you have? And she started flipping through her notebook. Here's a great one. I wish you'd been here for this one, my friend. Dust Devil Day. But since you weren't, I'll tell you how it got to be the first real celebration. You can call them whirlwinds if you want. Me, I think Dust Devil has a way better sound. Anyway, I always stop to watch them. They come from far away, moving up from the flats, swirling and swaying and falling and turning. They pick up sticks and sand and feathers and dry tumbleweed. Well, last March 11th, my family were all going somewhere, and I was in the back of the pickup when the Dust Devils started to gather. 1, 2, 3. You could see they were giants. My parents stopped the truck, and we spun around and around, and we watched them. 7 Dust Devils all together. You'd swear they were calling their friends to come too, and they came dancing in time to their own windy music. It was awesome. At a time like that, something goes kind of crazy in you. Have you ever experienced that? And you just have to run out to meet them, yelling the whole way, woohoo! Your turn, ready? Yeah. And then when you're watching them dance, you just gotta whirl. If you feel like it, stand up and whirl. Yes. And then one day, you think how lucky you were to be there in that moment. Some of the best celebrations are sudden surprises like that. If you weren't outside at that exact moment, you'd miss them. I spend a lot of time outside. I look around a lot. I said to her, wow, that sounds like a pretty special moment. Definitely one to celebrate. Can I look through your notebook? Of course. And she handed me her notebook. August 11th, Rainbow Celebration Day. Today I saw a triple rainbow that ended in a canyon where I was yesterday. I was halfway up a hill standing in the drizzle of rain. It was almost dark, but I wouldn't go in because, well, rainbows, of course. And there at the top of the hill, a jackrabbit was standing on its hind legs, perfectly still, looking straight at that same triple rainbow. I may be the only person in the world who has seen a rabbit stand on its hind legs, looking quietly and watching a triple rainbow. September 28th, Coyote Day, my favorite. I was lucky today because out of all time, it had to be one moment only that a certain coyote and I could meet, and we did. I was following deer tracks, taking my time, bending down as I walked, kind of humming. I looked up just in time to see a young coyote trotting through the brush. She crossed right in front of me. It was a windy day, and she was going east. And in that easy, silent way that coyotes have, you know what I'm talking about? She pushed into the wind. She stood there, hardly breathing, wishing I could move that way. I want to move that way. I was surprised to see her stop and turn and look at me. She seemed to think that I was just another creature following a rocky trail. She didn't hurry. She wasn't afraid. I saw her eyes, and she saw mine. That look held us together. Because of that look, I will never be the same. To celebrate this past year, I walked the same trail and hummed just like I did that first day. Then I unwrapped a feast that I had brought for the coyote. I brought apples and pumpkin seeds and an ear of corn and some fresh baked cookies. And guess what? The very next day, there were coyote tracks all around the rock where the food had been, and the food was gone. Next year, I'm going to make it even better. I'll bring an extra feast so I can eat there too. And then she asked me, "Do you have anything to celebrate?" And I looked at the little girl and I said, "I'm not so sure. Things have been a little rough lately. And I've got more that weighs heavy on my heart than I have to celebrate." She answered, "That happens to me too. But that's actually when it's most important to find things to celebrate. What helps me is to imagine my worries, fears, pains, sadness being held by the whole earth and all the people in it. Because sometimes I can't carry it all myself, but I know in community, my pain gets lighter and my joys get bigger." Why don't we do that now? Why don't you turn to someone right now here in this sanctuary and use one word or one sentence and say something that's been weighing heavy on you? No explanation. Just go ahead and turn to someone and tell them. Yeah. Sometimes we carry a heaviness within us that we don't even realize. If you can hear me, clap once. Oh, you guys are good. Sometimes we carry a heaviness within us that we don't even realize. And I asked the girl, "So how do we create a celebration? Can I do it too? Can anyone just create a celebration?" And the girl answered me, "Oh yeah, of course anyone can have their own celebrations." And I asked, "Is it okay to find things to celebrate when other people are struggling or when the world is hurting?" And she answered with an emphatic yes. That's when it's most important to celebrate. When we are fighting to make the world a better place, celebrations remind us exactly of what we're fighting for. We're fighting to celebrate. We're fighting to find joy. How do you find joy when things are hard? And the girl said, you just need to stop. You need to slow down. You need to make time to notice. Once you slow down, then you can start to notice and become aware of what's around you. Then you have to feel it into your body so you notice what's exciting to you. And finally, be open to surprise and to delight. The girl I met in the desert had some really good suggestions for taking charge of creating celebrations, for finding joy. I wonder what we might find to celebrate with joy and delight if we just work on noticing all the mystery and the awe that surrounds us every day. And with that, our story is told.
I'm not the same one, the time's done. Is that why you have let me go? Oh, Christmas is here everywhere. Christmas is here if you can. Oh, if there is love in your heart and your mind, you will feel like Christmas all the time. I feel you, Christmas. I know I found you. You never fade away. The joy of Christmas is here inside us. Fills each and every heart with love. With love.
reading today is Don't Hesitate by Mary Oliver. If you suddenly and unexpectedly feel joy, don't hesitate. Give in to it. There are plenty of lives and whole towns destroyed or about to be. We are not wise and not very often kind, and much can never be redeemed. Still, life has some possibility left. Perhaps this is its way of fighting back. But sometimes something happens better than all the riches or power in the world. It could be anything, but very likely you notice it in the instant when love begins. Anyway, that's often the case. Anyway, whatever it is, don't be afraid of its plenty. Joy is not made to be a crumb.
So, back in 2015, this church voted to adopt a mission. And I don't think back in those sweet summer days, those sweet innocent days of 2015, that it ever occurred to us that the first one might be the most difficult. Anyone else having a little more difficulty this year stirring up the holiday spirit? Yeah. The thing is, with a mission isn't something that is just happening automatically. A mission is something aspirational. A mission is directive. And I would say that when a congregation adopts a mission, it is a commitment for us as a congregation. Now, embracing joy right now, I don't think should also mean ignoring reality. Reality right now is very scary. I don't think that it does us any good. I don't think it's healthy to bury our heads in the sand and act like it's not happening, like our fears of the future are something that we should just shrug off. But neither is it healthy to be fixating on something that has not yet happened. Neither is it healthy for us to grab onto, even embrace a scary side of reality and ignore the joy and the good stuff that may be around us right now in the present. This is December, the holiday month. Whether it is Yule or Hanukkah or Christmas, whatever it is that brings you joy, now I believe is the time to embrace that, to find the little things or large that can fill us up. I absolutely am a lover of Christmas. Not because of any theology around a virgin birth or even a really special baby being born. I love Christmas because of the way humanism has influenced the faith that I love, Unitarian Universalism, and thus has influenced me. Humanism is the movement beginning in about the 1930s that put up this idea that we humans are capable of so much. We humans, without the intervention, without requiring the intervention of a supernatural force, we are capable and responsible for creating the world that we want to be. And Christmas is such an illustration of that. I love Christmas because of all of the things that we maddening, miraculous humans have done with the holiday itself. Now, is there anyone who can identify for me the character that we see here? The winter, I see someone back in the back. Yeah. The winter warlock. The winter warlock. Okay, Gen Xers, come on, get on your game here. Yes, the Winter Warlock was a character in one of those Rankin Bass Christmas stories. This one is the origin story of Santa Claus, called Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And the Winter Warlock, at first, is this very, very scary, mean creature. You shall not pass. Yes, I know I'm mixing up quotes here, but really, that was his message. That was his message. And then his heart, his icy cold heart, is melted because of something that happens to him. What happens? Specifically, he gets a toy. Someone gives him a toy. Now, why am I telling you this story? Because this story, even more miraculously, happened in the upper echelons of the government. The year was 1917. The United States was in World War I. And we had this thing called the Council of Defense. And they proposed in the fall of that year their plans for November, December. Their plans were that we as a country essentially should cancel Christmas. Like, they didn't put it exactly that way. What they said, though, was that they should send out the message. We should send out the message that all good Americans should do no gift giving this year, and specifically, no toys. This sounds like something from a Christmas special, right? No toys, because they wanted those factories to be used to make weapons of warfare. So you had this man, A.C. Gilbert. A.C. Gilbert was a real-life toy maker. He invented the erector set. Some of you are of a certain age and know about that, as well as other toys. And he was the head of a newly formed organization that was toy manufacturers. So he got wind of this, and he managed to get a 15-minute, that was all, a 15-minute meeting with this Council of Defense. So he went and met with them at a very private room in the Navy headquarters. And so he is meeting with, the Secretary of the Interior, the Secretary of War, the Secretary of the Navy, the Secretary of Commerce, all men, because, it's 1917. And he uses his precious 15 minutes. He gives a few minutes of sort of a rousing, emotional speech about what toys, and specifically educational toys, how they shape children into becoming the adults who they will be. And then he opens up a bag and he puts toys out on the table. And he encourages these very important men to pick up the toys and to play with them. And they do. And they start talking about the little things, the toys that they had had as children, and how it had shaped the people that they became. And he won. They pulled back from their plans which originally had included telling parents, rather than giving their children any toys, to instead give them Liberty bonds. Here you go, Timmy. Oh, thanks. It's a war bond. It's what I've always wanted. I'll sleep with it under my pillow tonight. But no, A.C. Gilbert had them scratch that. They did keep a limited amount of factories open. They did create toys, and he became known by the press as the man who saved Christmas. Now, I understand some of us may be a little cynical and going, well, he probably had kind of a profit motive in that. Maybe. Remember, his factory would have been used to create weapons, and unfortunately, weapons are far more lucrative than toys. And A.C. Gilbert, interesting man, he also later in his life was one of the very first businessmen to create a set of benefits for his employees that included health insurance and even maternity leave. So I'm inclined to kind of give him the benefit of the doubt. I imagine that many people in here have also heard about something else that happened in World War I, and that is called the Christmas truce. Have some of you heard of this? And this is something that just happened spontaneously during the war, when the British and the German soldiers are right there on the battlefield with each other. And someone realized that it was Christmas Eve and began singing in German, Silent Night. And then the troops on the other side began singing. And it wound up with a whole truce, a whole holiday from the war, where they sent a runner over here and they sent a runner over here, and they actually negotiated a temporary truce. They got together, they shared treats, they shared gifts. Can you imagine that? Across the enemy lines, they shared gifts with each other. It was temporarily, while it was under their concern, a truce and a break in the fighting. Now, the one time when absolutely I could understand families making a decision to skip Christmas was the Great Depression. There were, some people who had means, but the majority of people had nothing. I've heard my mother talk about it. What became the norm for those who were lucky was you would have multiple generations all living together in one house. They didn't have money for things, of course, like gifts or fancy holiday feasts. But nonetheless, Christmas was so important for them that they still celebrated. That is the thing that we see throughout this human history, is over and over again, not in the best times, but often in the worst. There is something about Christmas that makes us say, we are going to celebrate it no matter what. So during the Great Depression, they got creative. Handmade gifts were sort of the norm. If you did have any little bit of money that you could save up, it was often for much needed clothing, hats or gloves or shoes, socks, but those gifts were very much appreciated. And as for the feast, we had a U.S. Department of Nutrition that put out their recipes and their suggestions. From what I have read, one of the most unpopular was like the main entree for Christmas, called lima bean loaf. Even my vegan friends are over here going, I don't know about that. But they still celebrated it. Now, in World War II, we talked about this as a congregation when we were going through the pandemic. One of the areas, the hardest hit at Christmas time, literally, was London, with the London Blitz. Those who did not have the money to go to their country house or to a private bomb shelter, they all crowded down in the subway stations in order to escape the falling bombs. And even there, they celebrated Christmas. They pooled their resources. They came up with feasts for that time. They found little ways to celebrate. They sang songs, even as the bombs were falling overhead. If I'm going to talk about finding joy, finding holiday joy, even in the hard times, for the rest of my life, I'll be talking, I didn't know I was going to tear up. I'll be talking about this church and the Christmas of 2020. Christmas of 2020, remember, we had no vaccinations. we still had not even received confirmation of how it was being spread. So even when we got together, outside, we wore masks and we maintained, 6 foot of distance. And we knew that Christmas, no one felt safe flying. If you were driving anywhere, what were you going to do when you had to go to the bathroom? You didn't even feel, y'all remember this, didn't even feel safe going into the restroom of a convenience store. And so this church, even though we couldn't physically be together in this space, we pulled together. We created Advent bundles for every family in the church. Santa Claus came and made sure that every child knew that Santa Claus had special protection from COVID and could still visit their homes. We even did a candlelight Christmas service. People came up to the church and were handed candles. They went home. They made videos with themselves, their families, lighting the candles, and we put those all together and we gathered online. This is part of why I also love Christmas. To me, it is such an illustration of all people over and over again showing human resilience and human generosity no matter the odds. We need to embrace holiday joy because it is what strengthens us. It's what fills us up. And during the next year, 2, 3, 4, we're going to need that. If you want to take an assignment for December, consider December to be your opportunity at practicing, embracing joy, because my friends, we are going to need to continue doing that. We need to do it both because joy is resistance. Joy is resistance to the despair that others would love for us to be drowning in. And joy also reminds us what it is that we are fighting for. I'm mixing up all the quotes today. Y'all know I'm kind of nerdy. Okay, what's it from? Thank you very much. Rose says that's how we're going to win. Not fighting what we hate, but saving what we love. This December, remember what it is that you love and embrace it. So even though I said that for me, Christmas is predominantly about what we humans have done with the holiday itself, there is still much in the Christmas story that I think we can get into. And so I invite you right now to join me in a moment of reflection in words and in silence. Close your eyes if that helps you to go deeper inside. This, by Kendall Gibbons, is Christmas is Subversive. One of the great things about Christmas is that it is a sturdy holiday. Christmas doesn't wimp out when times are hard. It comes anyway, even if there are hardly any presents, even when there isn't much food to make a feast with, even if you're sad, even if the world around you is at war, even if you are living in fear and danger and oppression, Christmas still comes. And when it comes, Christmas is subversive. Christmas, with its story of an unwed mother and a doubtful father, with its legend of a helpless baby born in a stable who was worshipped by some of the richest, wisest men in the world, with its tale of the child pursued by the deadly wrath of kings, who escaped as a refugee to a foreign land far from home. Christmas, with its ancient enduring summons of peace on earth, goodwill to all people everywhere. You can't stop a day like that with a little hardship or greed or injustice. It will show up anyway, shining the light of a midnight star into the darkest places of our collective lives. Do not underestimate the power of the manger and the hope it holds. The Christmas song of the angels is not as innocent as it sounds. It has turned the world upside down before now. It still can. Amen, and blessed be.
We are the tradition of the Free Church. Our church and our community outreach are supported not from an outside source, but from within. We invite you to make a financial contribution to help sustain this church's vital work, knowing that every gift, large and small, is appreciated and carefully used in service to our mission. The QR code and text information for donations is available in the back of the seat pocket in front of you. If you'd like to donate by credit card, Apple, or Google Pay, someone from stewardship can assist you near the kitchen after the service. As the ushers come forward to receive the offering, I invite you to say with me these words. We are building beloved community with our labor and with our treasure. With gratitude, we receive the offering. May it help us to fulfill our mission in the world.
Our lives are finite. None of us know where we will even be a year from now. Here's the one thing we do know, that we only get one December 2024. What a pity it would be to leave even the crumbs of joy that we find behind. And if you need a little extra help stirring up your holiday spirit this year, there is one hack to this. I guarantee it always works. That's why there's so many movies and TV shows about it, and that is to give to someone else. We have so many different opportunities for it, but I will give you one right here. When you come out into our Welcome Center on the left, you'll see a basket that has cards that say the Giving Tree, and then each one has something specific written on it. We're going to get a tiny tea set for someone. You can grab one of these. They need to be back on next Saturday. Is that the right date? The date is out there for when they need to be returned. Get one of those, go do a little holiday shopping, and I guarantee you're going to find something kind of stirring in you, and it just may be the holiday spirit. Go in peace, and may the spirit of love go with you.
Your invitation to the Faith Development Hour. Today there's several things going on. So first we have Voices of the Movement. This is the final session. It will be in room 205 upstairs. You get to ride, or what I call the TARDIS, the elevator to go upstairs. That is from 11:15 to 12:45, and that is with the Jedi team and Tim Buckley. They'll be exploring We Shall Overcome. But how do we go about actually overcoming? Where does one start? Tim has some impressive examples of individuals doing the seemingly impossible, and from whom we can learn. We also have Exploring Membership, 11:15 to 12:15 in the library, if you'd like to learn more about Unitarian Universalism and Live Oak Church. And of course, we have the Hanging of the Greens. So everyone, the whole church is invited, if you're not in a class, to help us decorate and bring joy to our sanctuary and to our fellowship hall, and make it awesome for all the kids that are coming next Saturday for selfies with Santa, much less ourselves. So there's so many places to find joy in this building today, and I hope that you find what you're looking for. And Becky? And don't forget, the no rehearsal Christmas pageant is next Sunday.
Hey guys, I'm Becky Gregory. I wanted to ask 6 or 7 of you to give us a hand. We had 500 fabulous door hangers made up about all of our activities in December, and we're down to about 60 or 70 of them. I've gotten all my steps in this week, distributing these. I put them in groups of 10, and that's pretty easy to just go up and down your own street or your own apartment complex and give that many out. That won't take very long. You never know who needs a blue Vespers service, or who wants to not spend Christmas Eve alone, or who has a child that would benefit from coming to Selfies with Santa. So if 6 or 7 of you, that's all we've got left, I would love to get those distributed, not by me. And so they're by the coffee in the fellowship hall. Thank you guys.
And like she mentioned, on Thursday night, 6:30 in this sanctuary, we'll have a Blue Christmas Vesper. For those that maybe they're still seeking the joy for this holiday season, come and be in company and be held in community.
I invite you to rise for our closing hymn, number 235, Deck the Halls, and remain standing for the extinguishing of our chalice.
This is the
Let us say these words to each other. We extinguish the flame here, that it may glow gently in our hearts. May it light your path as you leave this place. May it guide your way until we are together again. It's been a gift to be together today. Please spend the next 5 minutes talking with someone you don't know. Members, be sure to introduce yourselves to any first-time visitors we have. There's the ones with the handwritten name tags. And show them where the visitors' table and the coffee are. May we all know the blessings of fellowship.